Hello, and welcome to the panel, where we take a look at graphic novels and talk about their story, art, and everything in between. On this episode, we're getting into the spirit of Halloween by discussing a comic filled with terrifying monsters, people getting killed left and right, basically everything that makes a great horror. So, grab a weapon of your choice and be ready to believe the unbelievable, because we're about to cut deep into Something is Killing the Children from Boom Studios. We've got a great guest today joining me from DST Unboxed, our favorite fangirl, Natasha, aka Cannon Doll X.
Hi! Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to dive into this book. After page one, I was already hooked, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Fantastic. And we have from Boom Studios, Harley Salbaka.
Hello. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Sorry, I had to have a big reveal with my mask.
I love the drama.
Thank you.
And also from Boom Studios, we have Roz Moorhead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for joining us, y'all, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
I'm so excited. I see everyone's getting kind of like a little bit dressed up here. I like the costumes. So let's go ahead and jump on in. We wanted to talk about Something is Killing the Children because there are a lot of great classic horror titles out there, and this is one of those that definitely stands out because of its story, its art, the accolades it's received. To give everyone some watching, this is a summary of the plot. So, when the children of Archer Peak begin to go missing, everything seems hopeless. Most children never return, but the ones that do have terrible stories, impossible stories of terrifying creatures that live in the shadows. Their only hope of finding and eliminating the threat is the arrival of a mysterious stranger who believes the children and claims to see what they can see. Her name is Erica Slaughter. She kills monsters. That's all she does. And she bears the cost because it must be done. Something is Killing the Children was announced as a 5-issue limited series by Boom Studios in June of 2019. In August of 2019, ahead of the release of the first issue, it was announced that the series had been promoted to an ongoing title due to overwhelmingly early support from retailers and fans. And this series has won multiple awards, including 4 Eisners. So let's jump into this. What was everyone's initial thoughts going into reading this graphic novel? Let's start with Natasha.
So my initial thought, because hearing the premise and stuff like that, and being a Buffy the Vampire fan, Vampire Slayer fan, not the vampire. I was thinking, oh, is this going to be that kind of feel to it? But it is so much more than that. It is just instantly, after page one, it sucks you in, and then you're just kind of intrigued by where the story is going to go, and then it just hits you, and the art is amazing. I really love the way some of the panels go across both pages of the book, so you're just completely drawn in on every single page.
It definitely captures you from the beginning. Mm-hmm. What about you, Harley? When you first heard about this book or this graphic novel, what were your first impressions?
So this came out before I was at Boom Studios, but I 100% read the first arc through my local comic book shop. And I'm not usually a big horror person, but my local comic book shop store manager was like, no, trust me, you're going to love this. And I was like, please tell me exactly why I'm going to love it if I don't love horror. And he said, because there's amazing world building and there's excuse my bad butt. I'm going to not say the other word. I don't know who's watching. And so I was like, cool. I would love to read a story with a strong female character and some cool horror, but also the world building is one of the things I think is the most intriguing. I love it when I'm reading something and immediately things are happening where I need to know the answer. I have questions. Immediately I was like, wait, why can she see the monsters and other adults can't? Other people over a certain age can't, only the kids can. I need to know. So it was very addicting early on because the world building is so phenomenal and the character building is so phenomenal on this story and on this series.
So true. What about you, Roz?
So I have to be really honest. I just started with Boom actually the first day of San Diego Comic-Con. So I am not 100% like up on all the catalogs, but I was very aware of this title. I do need to dive deeper into the content of it. But what I will say that was really makes a big impression on me is how much of an impression it has on fans at, like, say, for instance, San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, we were selling masks like this and they were just, blowing out left and right, but we had amazing cosplayers coming up. We just had so many people thanking, Boom and the creators for making such a beautiful, like Carly said, world where, scary things happen, but it's a beautiful place and where we all can just let our dark imaginations run wild. And so to me, I think the biggest impression I'm having is its reaction on fans.
And it definitely does have a strong reaction. I think a lot of it has to do with how strong the story is. So let's go ahead and get started discussing the story. All right, let's start off with a little bit of information about the writer. So while some people may know James Tynion IV for his work at Marvel and DC, he has worked with several other publishers and created some incredible titles such as 2015's Memetic, 2014 through 18's The Woods, and currently ongoing Department of Truth, and of course, Something is Killing the Children, for which Tynion has won several awards. So let's dive into this. What did you think of the story? Let's pick on Harley first.
So I'm actually caught up on Something is Killing the Children. In case anyone wanted to know, we're on volume 5 of it. You can kind of see it. I'm trying to make my camera see it. There we go. We're on volume 5, which actually just dropped this month. So I think to go back and focus on the early parts of the story instead of talking about the whole series in general. In the first arc, I think one of the things that really drew me in right away is because obviously it's called Something is Killing the Children. So you're like, cool, kids are going to die. But I think one of the cool parts is that right away, you zone in on a kid. It is about a kid and his experience with losing, spoiler alert, losing his friends. And also, if you take a look at the main character, it's based on James. This kid is James. Mm-hmm. So everything that James writes has such a personal touch to it in the most beautiful way. And as you can tell, it's a nerd kid, because if you look at the t-shirts he wears, they're like subtly like different types of nerddoms on his t-shirt that are not exactly those nerddoms, obviously, because licensing. But it's really cool that he makes it so personal in his writing. And that's one of the things I think he brings to all of his writing. And he's done multiple series with us. And having it start off with a bang with a child's experience of horror is just, it's really dark. But it's also deep and personal.
Yeah, you really do get a feel for the characters on that one. What about you, Natasha?
About the story? So I haven't read anything else but the first one, because that's, volume 1. That's where I got to start. But I really liked, like what you said about, like, it's kind of from James' perspective. And then you've got suddenly this woman shows up in the storyline, and like you want to know more about her, and she just instantly, you can tell she's tired. She's like over it, but she's got a job to do. People are killing children and it needs to stop. And so even though she's bruised, battered, and literally bloody, she is gonna, find a way to stop this. And I really like that. I like the power behind that. The exhaustion, I can totally relate. Like, no matter what, I have 3 children. So like, no matter what, you got to keep going. You got to do stuff. You got to get the job done and help these kids out. And then just her empathy too for James, and the fact that, like, she kind of reaches out to him a little bit, but then tries to keep him at arm distance, but also kind of keeps him close, in that, she wants to help him. She wants him to get through this, but at the same time, she doesn't want him to be involved. And that's, that's a really cool character development for her. I like it a lot.
Oh,
I can't hear you, Mia.
So Natasha, going along with that,
Yes.
what did you feel was the strongest aspect of the story for you?
Ooh, the strongest aspect. I want to say the mystery, almost. Like, you're getting little. So in volume 1, you only get like, suddenly she's talking to like a stuffy, like an octopus, and you're like, why? Okay, maybe she's got a little crazy, and then you realize, and then eventually in the story you see some images, and you're like, oh, that's not just a stuffy, like something else is going on there, and there you go, and then you find out more of like what's going on, but then eventually the stuffy actually talks to James, and I feel like you're just all the spoilers. People should just read this. But like you get to find more and more, and then eventually at one point when you are wondering that fact of like, how come she can see these monsters, other adults can? Like, she's not a child, but she's seeing all the things that the kids can see, and then she helps somebody else start to see, but it like links to like this other kind of meeting table, and there's all these other slaughterers, and they have their own stuffies. Like, you're just, what's going on here? What's more? I need more of this story. And then I got to the page that said to be continued, and I was like, son of a gun. I'm like, no, I need more. I need to know. And then like something else happened. Like, I know we're talking about the story. I guess I could just say it. So like eventually she saves this child in the cave, and I swear that's not going to be a child. That is totally going to be a monster. I feel it in my bones. And then the next page was the to be continued. So needless to say, I'm going to go to my local comic shop and get the rest of these volumes.
and you're so lucky because now you can get 5 right now.
I know.
You can
Yay!
get so many. You can go and buy 4 today.
Goodbye.
All your horror reading,
Kids for Halloween. I'm reading to you.
There you go. A good scary story. What about you, Roz? Was there like a strong aspect of the story that really drew you in?
I think that Erica, I think the strong female that basically, we see it over and over again in popular culture and in this kind of medium, but it's just always awesome to show that, kind of the fate of big things hang on the shoulders of females. And she is like all of us in one way. She's, vulnerable, she's flawed, she's strong, she's, she's a complicated person, but it's all on her to do because she not only is positioned to do so, but she also is just, she's a badass, and that's what we are. Women are. And when we get to see that in our entertainment, I just think that's a wonderful thing. And I think that it's really well represented here. I think Erica's amazing.
Oh,
Completely agree.
Are we allowed to say badass now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you can say
Cool.
badass.
I just had to make sure. Like,
I'm a
I
badass.
was like,
say it on my show.
Who's watching? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
That's as bad as I'll get. I
As long
swear.
as you say it together. Yeah. As long as you say
Johnny,
one
Johnny has
word.
given us the okay on
Yeah.
that.
Awesome.
So.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. What about you, Harley? What was a strong aspect of the story for you?
I think one of the things that's such a strong part of this world and the first arc of this world is the characters, but strangely, and this is going to sound weird because I know this is horror and very fantastical, supernatural horror, is the realistic nature of it. Let me continue because I know everyone's like, what? So I think that the way that this, because you watch or read things and sometimes like it's very clear it's a fantasy world and you're like, well, that wouldn't happen in the real world. Yeah. But the way that James writes and the way that the characters are built, they're so realistic. They're so realistic and relatable. Both the children, both like Erica as well, all the different characters you meet, and also like real questions happen, which is what I love. Is like there's a point where like Erica literally is like, "Hey, I'm just gonna hang out in this diner and I'm
Mhm.
just going to buy coffee. Okay. And you're going to let me, here's money. Just let me be here as much as I need to. And the way that it's handled, I was like, no, this was a realistic version of this. And I think that's one of the reasons that makes it also so compelling is the realism, and you feeling like all of that real, like, logical nature combined with this mystery and the supernatural questions. It just makes it so much more potent out the gate, because your brain isn't questioning anything because of the realism that's added to it and the depth of the characters.
100%. Because, like, also just adding to that, and the part of that the children see these monsters, but adults can't, but they're there, like all that stuff, like having kids who are like afraid of the dark, or like, oh, I see something, or things like that. And, you know, as an adult, you're like, no, it's fine. It's okay. Like, is it though? Like, now after reading this, maybe I won't doubt that my kid sees something in the closet, you know?
And also because kids, like, I mean, I've worked with children a lot, and like kids are very honest. Like, to the point where sometimes you're like, wow, that's a little too honest. But kids are honest. And I think they do definitely like notice and see things that we don't as adults anymore. And I love that aspect of it, of like the magic of being a child, but the horror version.
The horror. Yeah. Exactly. This image right there.
So very true. And that's one of the things that, you know, he does so well with his writing, is that characterization and getting you to really like feel for them, whether, you know, it's feeling for the witnesses, the kids that see everything, or whether it's like you really being mad at the jock and everything that
Tommy.
he's doing. Yeah, like just so upset. But Erica has a lot of mystery around her, at least still in this first volume. So was Erica easily for you to relate to? What did you think, Natasha?
Oh, absolutely. For me, again, mom of 3, like, just I gotta get up, I could go, even though I just want to lay down and sleep. I don't have the option. I gotta take care of these kids. I gotta make sure they're okay. I gotta, you know, push through. I gotta fight. I gotta, you know, take a breath or sip of coffee when I can, but like, no matter what, keep going. And like, and just her empathy too for these kids, and that, you know, she doesn't want them to see this horror, but she, you know, also has to protect them and be real. You know, like, this is what's going on, James. This is what's going on, and I need you to back off and just listen, just follow directions, you know. And so I definitely can relate and understand, and in that admiration of, you know, no matter what, how tired you are, like, you still have to push through and fight.
Very true, especially as a parent.
Yeah.
What about you, Harley?
Women get things done, let's be honest. So
Yep.
with Erica, it was pretty easy. You're like, yeah, doing the dirty work a lot of time, getting all the things done, multitasking. Yeah, that all tracks. But I will say also, I think, to note on the empathy, one of the things that I think is so great about her character is that she clearly is empathetic, sympathetic, and like is nurturing, but knows she can't be too nurturing, which
she can't get attached.
Maybe you learn more about some of this stuff when you keep reading Something is Killing the Children, which you should 100% do. But I think that's a great struggle that you see internally with her, is that she has this natural nurturing side, which I think is very common for, you know, a lot of women. But she can't go too far in it. She can't get too attached because she has to do this job. And because also she's seen so many kids die at this point.
Yeah.
And then also, like, again, eventually, as you continue reading the amazing world that is Something is Killing the Children, you learn more about Erica. Like, you get to her origin in a few volumes. So you get to dive deeper into her and why she's like this specifically. And also, again, just as a woman in this day and age, even who doesn't have kids, I think she just is so relatable with what she deals with, and then natural nurturing and sympathetic side that she tends to have. I felt that. I was like, yeah, this would be hard for me to not be attached to this child and want him to survive. So.
Yeah.
Right. And what about you, Roz?
I'm sorry. Something fell off my roof and just scared the ground to me, so I do not know what the question is.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know
Don't
it.
go outside. Don't go into the woods.
Right? I just thought something might be killing the adults. I don't know.
Or the cats. Something is killing the cats.
I just
Oh, no.
it's like a two by four. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh no. Well, I mean, it is Halloween, so definitely glad that you checked that out. Now, I know that you had mentioned before that you love the strong female characters within the story. That kind of like that characterization. So for you, how did you feel about Erica, and was she relatable to you?
Yeah, and I think that we all touched upon it, but I think it's one of those things that when you have a mantle that nobody else can fulfill, like a mother or a wife or a best friend or whatever it may be, a savior of the world or these children. Like, I think it's relatable because everybody has something that they absolutely have to be responsible for, and they're the only ones that can do it. And when it comes to Erica, it's a huge one. I mean, it's, some people would just walk away and be like, nah, no way, I'm not doing this. Or even if I'm the only one. But I think it's really like the realism, like Harley had mentioned, is that, she's like, dang, I'm the only one who can do this, but I'm tired. And I just got to get through it all. And it's just, fulfilling your destiny, even if you don't want to, or if you're tired or whatever. And I love that realism to it.
Very true. Okay, so it looks like we've got 2 comments. Hold on, let's see. Oh, Amanda said she's going to reread the entire series today. Yay!
Amanda.
Oh, and I think this has to do with the noise.
Oh, this is a spoiler alert. No.
It's a spoiler. No, they're saying that it's a monster. So, yeah. And then we've got Brian saying happy Halloween, Brian, and also happy Halloween to you, Steph.
And Troy.
Troy. All right. Now, we can't talk about the story without talking about the art because they go hand in hand. So let's go ahead and move on to talking a little bit about the art. To get us started, Werther del Adera is an Italian artist who has done work for Marvel, DC, IDW, Dynamite, Dark Horse, and of course, Boom Studios. Literally everyone. And his work on Something is Killing the Children earned him an Eisner Award nomination in 2020. All right. So, first off, basic question. Did you like the art? Starting off with Roz.
I actually love it. I think it's probably my favorite part. I mean, the story obviously is so important, but with the art, coupled with that art, it pulls me so much into the world. I also love its technique. I love that it's gritty, it's dark, it's shady. And then when there's blood, it just really, really pops against that palette. He uses a beautiful palette of color, and it looks perfect and imperfect all at the same time, which I think is really difficult to do. And it gets to my core. I love it so much. I'm a huge fan of his work, and especially on this book.
Very true. What about you, Natasha?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, again, too, I love how the panels are laid out. So, like, this is one page. So it goes all the way across the top, and then you've got it down. Like, there's just and then there's just little fun things like this, too. Hold on. I don't know if my camera's House Depot. But, like, when it's daylight, it's like, it's there, you're daylight, you're kind of sucked in. You think, like, obviously the dialogue is telling you something else, but it's like really giving you like almost a subtle comfort to it, and then it just goes right back into that gritty and dark, and you're not in a good place, and you feel it, and you just all the little details about it too, like the one image I had it where it was the pile of children's bodies like there's little flies and like all this, and you see the horror on their face of when they died, and like it just really, it's good stuff. In that it's horrible, but it's good.
That's a great way of putting it. What about you, Harley?
That's just sorry, that just really made me laugh. I think one of my favorite things possibly in existence is when you have that amazing marriage of story and art that perfectly connect and interlace and mirror each other, right? Because sometimes I'll read it, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I read a comic and I'll be like, the art does not match this story,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't feel like the story that's being told, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This, the rawness, like the way that the lines are, if like I love how even his line work, especially once it like as she said, in the daylight it's a little cleaner, the art the lines are a little cleaner. Once it gets to the night and the action and the scary parts, if you look at his line work, it's raw, it's a monster. It's like it feels alive, the way that he draws it and his technique and how it changes in the different parts of the story. And I think this is one of those amazing marriages, amazing partnerships of art and storytelling where they perfectly match and mirror each other in a way that makes it makes the story more powerful.
Natasha, Roz, do you kind of feel the same way on that about the
Oh,
art
absolutely.
supporting the story?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Now-
I've had it, like she's saying, like there's sometimes where like I've had a book and I'm like, oh, this is a really good story, and then like the art, I'm just like kind of okay, and then I just realize I'm just reading the dialogue versus actually like consuming the imagery. Also in this book, I mean, you absolutely, like as you're reading it, you're like, you know, like just trying to absorb every single little block of this panel, and yeah, it's good stuff. It totally 100% meshes well.
It slays.
Yes.
I feel like also the use of
Literally.
color as well.
yeah.
It's just really attention grabbing and getting you in there, and especially, you know, it's some of the very tense moments. So were there any particular moments when the art really stood out for y'all? I'll start with Harley this time.
Sounds so funny. I think one of the parts is where like after she literally slaughters a monster and then she's there like stretching and cracking her back. Like I was like, yeah, been there. Like it was weirdly very relatable, but also like the way that it was drawn, I could feel the arch and the crack in her, like in her back and her stretch. Yeah, you see the little panel right there.
Yeah.
That's like such a strange little moment, but it was like the art was so clear and I knew exactly how she was feeling in that moment. So it was also very relatable. That, and then also in some of the action, just, it's like you could feel it, the way that it's drawn, the movement is there. And like, listen, I draw, okay, I do it for myself. Let me tell you, I will try to draw like more action shots, and it's not easy to do some of like the movement and like the lines of the movement. Mine are not great. But the way that he does it, like you see it right there with her arms out, like you can feel, like I could look at that and I feel the pull of the muscles. I know exactly the movement she did. And I think that's really where he just brings it, is with the action shots and then just weird small things like her cracking her back.
What about you, Roz? Was there a particular moment for you that you really just, it sticks out with you?
Not like particularly, but what I really love is his panel use. I love how they're structured. I love how they just go across a page or pages in such a way that it's like the panels themselves are something to look at, but then how they are laid out as a whole is something to look at. And I think that is just such a beautiful thing that like even harkens back to why I love comics, starting with Will Eisner and the play of panels and the use of them, the size of them, the positionings of them. I just think that is just, he's amazing at it. And I think it's why I love comics. So he's doing something that I love. And yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, the 2-page was amazing. It caught me a little off
Mhm.
guard at first because I wasn't expecting it, and then it just
Mhm.
worked so brilliantly, like to really give that cinematic look. I feel like.
Mhm.
And what about you, Natasha?
No, I totally agree about the panel thing. Like it like ups the intensity of like that particular part of the story. Like you're just even more, going across and talking about the action and stuff like that. Like there's a scene in the diner, when she has that kind of confrontation with Tommy for the first time, and he gets a little crazy, and she ends up just like rocking him on the table. And then like the next part where she's like, "Oh, clearly I can't sit here and have a coffee. I'm gonna go outside," and just like her body movements and the structure of all of it, of her walking out. She's clearly annoyed. She just wanted to sit for a minute and try to plan things out. And now there's already like she hasn't even been in the town 5 minutes, and she's already, having to be hassled, and she's there to save the children, not kill the children. So yeah,
Okay.
it's really good, that art, and there's just the layout, I mean, all of it. This is just such a good book. It really, really is.
Yeah, it really is. It
I
looks
wanted
like
I wanted to show you one of the pages I
Oh,
was talking
yes.
about, but I realized one of them might have some bad words on it. So I guess you can
Just
kind of
cover
see her
the word
like
with your
like
finger.
I was so like here, and she's just like, that's enough, and then she's like, come on, like just I'm not here to bug you. I'm not here to do anything. Like, let me just handle my business, and then I'm going, So I like it.
Very true. All right. Now we have a comment before we get into our final thoughts. If you could be any color mask, what mask would you be? Ooh. So I think this might have to be a question for people that have read on to
Mhm.
understand what the masks are.
I'll
So, all
Yeah.
right.
So, you're gonna have to read like full on and like get up to volume 5 to even understand these references at all. But if I had a color mask, it would be probably silver. It might be green, but probably silver.
What does this mean? I want to know
I'm
now.
all, I'm all
I will
take,
say it's
take
like
notes for later. Green,
because
silver.
it's
Okay.
exciting, and I think that's one of the reasons I love this series is like you have to keep reading to know and learn more about the world, but also like
Mhm.
like House of Slaughter, like there's different color masks for a reason. It's kind of like Hogwarts houses, but horror and like really scary stuff. But it's really cool, and I think that's one of the reasons that again that this is such an amazing series is that you get addicted. Like we see all the different color masks. Like even you guys showed the panel earlier where they're all sitting at the table. They all have their different colored masks on, so you can see white, scarlet, green, the blue, and also azul and the silver right there. But you don't know what they mean. You don't know what they mean. I know what they mean. You don't know what they mean, so you should keep reading so you know what they mean. And then you get to decide what house you'd be best in. I'm just throwing it out there. It's super fun.
So not to have spoilers, but I have to know, does each stuffy mean something different too? Like,
I mean, yes. I'm gonna gently say that because I don't want to
okay, I'll take it.
because I will say a lot of the reveals, like obviously you all saw that there's different colored masks. That's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you all assumed it meant different things because each person's there representing. Not a spoiler. I'm not going to talk about more details other than that because it's something that I think it's so exciting to discover on your own.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's why we don't do spoilers, because we want to discover things on our own and learn by ourselves and like be an individual person. So yes, the stuffies are cool.
Cool.
Weird.
That's all she's
Two of
saying.
my favorite
Yeah.
things. Cool and weird.
All right. Well, before we get into too many extra spoilers, let's go ahead and move into our final thoughts. All right, this is our time to talk about our overall thoughts. What did you think after reading just volume 1, though? So the overall of this, what did you think, and what would you say to comic readers out there that are looking for something new to read? Let's pick on Natasha.
Again. Okay. If you like dark, gritty, badassery, female lead, just badassery and mystery tied into everything, you're gonna love this book. The art, the dialogue is intense. The storyline is just really great. Now, mind you, I've only read volume 1, so that's my impression just from volume 1. In the fact that like the story, like after even just like you go through a couple of pages, you're starting to get in the story, and you think like, oh, I'm just hearing about the story, and then there's the title screen. Then boom, there's the intensity. Who is this person? What's going on? And like, like mentioned before, you get all these like, almost like these just little strings, and you want to pull them all and find out where they lead. And I mean, right to the very end, like I was super hooked. I saw, the last couple of pages of this book, I was already like trying to come up with conclusions of I think that's this, or this is this, and then it to be continued. And so I'm like already like, itching to have more volume. So this will definitely hook you in, and just go get it.
And what about you, Roz?
I have to say, like, it's just so character driven. I think that that's always a big draw. Like, you get to know these people and you really want to know more about them. You also get to know more about like organizations and other things like that. The world building is just addictive. So if you're looking for something that isn't just like a one and done type of, we're just going to tell a story and we're out. Like it's more of like you can binge on it. If you're a super Netflix person or someone else of that sort that really loves like a world building, character driven type of story. This is very akin to something like that. Again, the female lead, the grittiness of it, the art, as we've said, I just think it's just absolutely beautiful to look at, as well as hard to look at because of its gruesomeness and love, for that. But if you are into the horror genre and you love good stories, deep stories with a beautiful art, like you cannot go wrong with this at all. Highly recommend that you should do that. Also, the mystery is incredible. If you like being kind of step through something and you're like, okay, what's going to happen, and trying to figure out it along with everybody else, that's fun. I don't really love when people just give me the answers, and this book definitely does not. You are along for the ride with them. By the way, if anybody wants to know about the mystery of what happened, like this is what fell. If you can see it or not,
it's like a wood board.
That's a huge piece of wood.
A massive like wood board that fell from my ceiling. So I think maybe instead of monsters, I might be living in a haunted house. To be
no. Oh no! Happy Halloween.
You have to go grab a kid and see if they see anything in your house.
Yeah.
Don't steal the kid. Just like
kid.
Sorry. All right. Well, hopefully nothing else spooky happens. All right. Now, what I'm interested to hear, Harley, from you is actually your final thoughts of volume one, having already moved past that and kind of going back and looking at volume 1. What are your thoughts on just this volume?
It really just does pull you in very quickly. It's just immediately just very addicting. But I will say, it's just the tip of the iceberg. I think that is, when I went back, that was one of the most exciting things, like going back and rereading volume 1 this weekend, after like catching up all the way to volume 5. I was like, wow, we really just like barely titillate you at the beginning of this book. Like we just give you the very tip of that iceberg. And there's so much more world that we have built and that we are now providing that extent. I mean, even past just Something is Killing the Children, we have House of Slaughter, which is an entire additional series that ties into this world. So we're expanding this huge, Slaughterverse to have so much in it. And I think that is what is also very exciting as a new reader. Like I'm excited for new readers. I'm excited for you. I'm like, it's like what people used to say before we all didn't like Game of Thrones, right? Where it would be like, oh, I'm so jealous you get to watch Game of Thrones the first time, until it became bad. It's one of those things where like I had people say that to me when I was like starting that series. I'm now saying this to everybody who hasn't read House of Slaughter yet, who've only read volume 1. I'm so excited and jealous that you get to re-experience or like get experiences for the first time. Like I kind of wish I could like erase my memory and do it again because it's so wonderful. And again, I'm not even a horror fan. So this is someone who isn't not necessarily a big horror person coming to you and being like, this world building is amazing. These characters are amazing. The discoveries you get to have, the things you get to see and experience are just phenomenal. And I highly recommend, and I'm not even just saying this because I work at Boom. I started reading this before I worked at Boom and I loved it. So I recommend. It's just the very tip of the iceberg. And we also have a lot of cool things planned and coming down the pipeline for this. Like, no spoilers, we do have something coming out in December called Book of Slaughter. It is a one-shot, big, thick baby. And it's going to kind of combine a lot of the things that we've kept separate in the different series. I don't want to say too much more than that, because again, spoiler alerts. But you can actually go pre-order at your local comic book shop right now, because they have to order it soon. So you should all go pre-order Book of Slaughter. And that's coming out in December. Again, we just had the volume 5 of Something's Killing the Children drop this month. House of Slaughter is also amazing. And also, just to add to this, just so you have this knowledge and some excitement, House of Slaughter, each story arc is like independent. And it's its own individual story following different characters. So the first one, you don't really meet Aaron, which is who you see in this cover, Aaron Slaughter. But you know of Aaron in the first volume. He is the person calling Erica constantly. He's her like handler. And so volume 1 is basically Aaron's story. And it's amazing by Tate Brumble. And then we have a second one that came out that actually second volume of House of Slaughter follows one of the Scarlet Masks. So you actually get to learn about that house. And then for issue 11 is going to be the start of the next story arc for House of Slaughter. Tate Brumble is coming back to write it. And so it's just a lot of fun stuff you get to experience. And you can pick up any volume of House of Slaughter. Only one is out so far, sorry. But you'll be able to pick up any volume of House of Slaughter and get to read a unique story. And something that connects to this amazing world that we're just building and building and building.
Oh, that's perfect. Because, I was going to ask for like recommendations, and that's perfect because now I have to buy all those too.
Yeah. I'll just send you a list. I'll just send everyone a list.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
I should read. Everything you should know. Also, you can buy the beautiful mask that Roz is wearing. You can actually order that at your local comic book shop.
Nice.
Nice.
And other colors. We have a couple of colors out so far.
We have the scarlet one out. We have the black one out. The blue one, Azul, just dropped. And the white mask we also have.
Yeah. And that one shot we were talking about, the Book of Slaughter, is actually releasing on December 28th. So the end of the month, but that gives you plenty of time to get caught up and so that you can read that one and be all fresh and ready.
Oh, that's amazing. And now I really, really want to know what all these colors are for. As far as suggested reading for people that if they like this, what else can they read? What about you, Natasha?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't ready for that question.
All right.
Most things I read are, right now I'm going through my Spawn stuff right now. So as far as like direct horror, I don't have any recommendations. I'm sorry.
No problem. But we do have a question. Is House of Slaughter stories happening at the same time as Something is Killing the Children?
So I will hop in on this one. So the first arc that follows Aaron is not. It's before, and you actually maybe you see some characters that are familiar to you when they're much younger in House of Slaughter Volume 1. So no, it's not. And they make it pretty clear, like they give you little indications that it's happening before Something is Killing the Children starts. For each arc, it will be different. So each arc is going to be a different time. And some of them are before, some of them are going to be a little bit more, I guess, technically during. But there's definitely indicators during the story that will let you know exactly where in the timeline it is.
Awesome. Perfect. I guess I have one that a couple that I wanted to put out there. So of course, yes, Buffy, also from Boom Studios, is a great one if you like that female character, lead character that's kicking butt. I know, kind of that monster of the week aspect would be something maybe like Supernatural. And then Hack Slash is actually, you've got this a girl fighting monsters as well. So those would be ones as that I would like to talk about, at least, or recommend. And then I think Harley, you had something else?
Yes. So this will probably be like a little bit of a duel. Roz and I are both going to pitch some things that we think if you have read Something Is Killing the Children, you would also love. One of them for Boom is Grimm. So Grimm is another one of our series that immediately got a huge fan base and a huge fan reaction, which made us again so happy. It was one of our top launches, period, for Boom, and also our top launch basically last year of a new series, which was, or this year, sorry. I don't know what year it is anymore, which is Grimm. And Grimm is a really cool story. Again, we have a female lead. We follow Jessica. She's dead. She's dead, but she doesn't remember how she died, and she's now a Grim Reaper. So the fun part is that every other Grim Reaper remembers exactly how they died, but she does not. So it's this great kind of her discovering her origin, and also it's a badass woman taking souls, down the river Styx and bringing them to the underworld. So Grimm is another one that you will love if you love Something Is Killing the Children. Strong female lead. She's totally badass. It has that horror aspect, and then also just some great world building.
Cool.
Yeah, and the other one that I would say it really ties closely into a comp or something that I would recommend is actually Tate Brommel, who does House of Slaughter, and just we launched a #1 with him, so you haven't had too much time behind the curve. It's relatively pretty new. #1 is the only one that's out. It's called Behold Behemoth.
Oh, Behold actually drops this week.
Oh, sorry, it is this week. Sorry. Yeah. In my brain, because I am in comic shop land, like we're already there. But no, it is this week. But yes, if you love, a great story coupled with great art, like Something Is Killing the Children, this is the same kind of secret sauce. It's a beautiful book. It's also a crazy story. The first issue is it just goes so hard, so, amazingly set up. I'm already invested in most of the characters. Also involves an adult and a child's relationship, monsters, scariness, darkness. It's just an amazing looking book. Again, I've only read #1, but I'm already hooked. Can't not wait for more. And I think that if you like Something Is Killing the Children, you will like this, if not love it.
Fun fact, everybody at Boom is already addicted to Behold Behemoth, and we all have only read 1 issue. All of us just are already addicted and ready for more. So
yeah.
Nice.
So this Wednesday, #1 is dropping. And if you're in the Toronto area or anywhere around there, Tate's going to be doing a signing and all that fun stuff. So look it up. I think you'll love it.
Cool. Can't hear you, Mia. Mia, can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Oh, no.
Did it again. I have really loud traffic outside my window, so I try to not have that interfere while y'all are talking. I forget that I mute myself. I just wanted to say this has been so much fun talking with y'all about this. I now have a huge list of books for me to read and graphic novels for me to read and pick up. So thank you all for coming on here and chatting with us about Something Is Killing the Children. Now, I know there were a lot of dates that were thrown out for stuff that's coming up. So would one of y'all like to kind of refresh everyone on what dates to look for things, what's coming out as far as the future from Erica Slaughter and the world of Something Is Killing the Children?
For sure. So Book of Slaughter is coming out December 28th. But you can, of course, go pre-order it now at your local comic shop, which I highly suggest. House of Slaughter Volume 1 is out. House of Slaughter Volume 2 drops in January. And then the arc that is actually after that, if you're going to read individual issues, also starts in January. What is currently out? Let's start there too. Also, FYI, if you don't write this down or you don't want to listen to me anymore, you can actually go to your local comic book shop and you can ask them, and they should be able to also give you this information. But so far, volumes 1 through 5 of Something is Killing Children is out. The new story arc past that has started. So issue 26 is where you would pick up after you read volume 5 if you have to have more and can't wait for the volume. And then House of Slaughter volume 1 is out, along with issues, hold on, let me think for a second, 6 through 9 of House of Slaughter are out. That should be right. Yeah. I'm like, this is all from my memory, so I apologize. I did write down the date for Book of Slaughter, so I would not forget it. But that should be everything. And again, this is a great world that we're going to continue to build with James and all these amazing creators who we have. So keep an eye out. Follow us on social media. Ask your local comic book shop. Say, hey, I want everything that's related to the Slaughterverse in my pull, please. And can I also have some masks? And they should be able to provide all of those.
Mute it again.
Yeah.
I keep doing this. Sorry. So this is everyone's reminder to pick up Something is Killing the Children at your friendly local comic shop. To find a comic shop near you, simply head on over to comicshoplocator.com and you can find the closest one near you. Also, you can go to Pullbox, which is a great way to go ahead and have comics pulled for you and available at your local comic shop. So before we leave, I want to let everyone... Oh, wait, we got a comment. Rob saying, big thanks to Boom Studios for all the announcements at the Diamond Retailer Summit. Ooh. Very cool. Now, before we leave, I want to go ahead and give everyone a chance to plug anything else that they have going on and let people know where to follow you online. So let's start with Roz.
Oh, here I am. I am not a big social media person, but Boom is. So we have channels. We have our website. We have TikTok. We have Instagram. We have YouTube. We have Facebook. We have everything. So definitely go to our website for the newest information, but also all our social channels. And we make really fun, specific content for all those different channels. And yeah, so follow us wherever you like to follow.
And what about you, Harley?
I mean, I'm going to also say for sure, follow Boom. So at Boom Studios, basically everywhere. Titter, oh my gosh, Twitter. I need more coffee. TikTok, all that fun stuff. For me, if you want to follow me, I guess, for lots of nerdy stuff. That's mostly I post nerd things, and I do book recommendations a lot. I will say, like on my stories and stuff, if you are into that. I'm at Ms. MS Harley R, which you can see right there on the screen. And I'm not huge. I don't do a ton of social media. I basically just do Instagram. And I do have like a page, Harley Soapbox, a page on Facebook, which I also posted basically the same stuff I post on Instagram. So whichever you prefer, if you feel like it, I guess. But Boom Studios, that's where you're really going to get the good stuff. And also most of what I do too is reposting what Boom posts. So
I don't know. I totally want to follow you for those book recommendations. So
I got you covered.
And what about you, Natasha? Where can everyone find you? What have you got going on?
I'm at cannondollx.com, or you can go at cannondollx anywhere. I'm on all the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. I do a range from unboxing toy videos, but also indie comic recommendations and just a lot of nerdy random shenanigans too. So. And cosplay stuff. I've always forgot about that part. It's been a while. And then my next next place I'm going to be is StellarCon in Bel Air, Maryland. So I'm excited for that one because that's like action-packed and fun. And yeah, my friend Kevin puts it on. So I'm excited for that.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Well, thank you all for coming and joining me on the show. This has been fantastic. And I just wanted to say for the audience, if you have a graphic novel that you'd like us to talk about, leave a comment below and your choice could be picked for a future episode. And remember to follow us at Previews World and Free Comic Book Day on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, basically everywhere. And just letting you all know, heroes are a dime a dozen, but comic fans are priceless. And we'll see you next time. Do you have a suggestion for a graphic novel that you'd like to see discussed on the panel? Leave us a comment and your choice could be picked for a future episode.